Chapter 5. Goals, the building blocks. As we've already seen, one of the basic keys to success is knowing what you want and committing yourself to getting it. In order to keep yourself on track, you also have to know how to set and commit yourself to specific goals. Once upon a time, several very successful people got together, and they were talking about what they'd accomplished and why. One of them spoke up and said, "You know what success is?" Everybody else became quiet and listened. He went on, "Success is goals. All else is commentary." This is one of the great truths in life. Success is goals, and all else is commentary. This is the great discovery throughout all of human history. Your life only begins to become a great life when you clearly identify what you want, plan to achieve it, and work on that plan every single day. Napoleon Hill once said, "The primary reason for failure is that people do not develop new plans to replace those plans that didn't work." I found that when you start off on a new goal or course of action, most things won't work, at least not the first time. Many people try something once and then quit. Successful people try and try again. They make new plans, make different plans, try something different. They keep on going. Over the years, I've done thousands of radio and television interviews, and they always ask me, "What was the turning point for you? What was the Saul on the road to Damascus experience that took you from rags to riches, that got you out of the ditch of life?" I used to get irritated when I heard that because it assumes that there's just one quick trick that makes a person successful. So I would dance around the question. Then one day I thought, there were turning points in my life. I realized that there were three. I find that there are three turning points for everybody. First, I discovered that I was responsible for my life and for everything that happened to me. I learned that this life is not a rehearsal for something else. This is the real thing. This was a real shock to me. Up to that time, I blamed my background, my parents, and the things that had happened to me. Suddenly, like a flashbulb in the face, I realized I was responsible. And if anything was going to change in my life, I was going to have to change it myself. Every study of successful people shows that their starting point is the acceptance of personal responsibility. Before that, nothing happens. After you accept complete responsibility, your whole life begins to change. The second turning point for me, which came when I was about 24 years old, was my discovery of goals. Without really knowing what I was doing, I sat down and made a list of 10 things I wanted to accomplish in the foreseeable future. I promptly lost the list. But 30 days later, my whole life had changed. Almost every goal in my list had already been achieved or partially achieved. The third turning point in my life came when I discovered that you can learn anything you need to learn in order to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself. No one is smarter than you. No one is better than you. All business skills, sales skills, and money-making skills are learnable. Everyone who is good in any area today was once poor in that area. The top people in every field were one time not even in that field and didn't even know that it existed. What hundreds of thousands or millions of other people have done in achieving success, you can do as well. 10 steps in goal setting. I want to walk you through some of the critical steps of the goal setting process. Number 1, decide exactly what you want in every key area of your life. You do this by starting off idealizing. Idealizing is the special technique used by top people all over the world and throughout history. Imagine that there are no limitations on what you can be or have or do. Imagine that you have all the time, all the money, all the friends, all the contacts, all the education, all the experience that you need to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself. Imagine that you could wave a magic wand and make your life perfect in each of the 4 areas of life. If your life was perfect in each of these areas, what would it look like? The first area is income. How much do you want to earn this year, next year, and 5 years from today? Wave a magic wand and imagine that you have no limits. The second area has to do with your family. What kind of lifestyle do you want to create for yourself and your family? What kind of home do you want to live in? What kind of vacations do you want to take? What do you want to accomplish for members of your family? Just imagine you have no limits and you could design your perfect lifestyle. The third area has to do with your health. How would your health be different if it were perfect in every way? How much would you weigh? How fit would you be? What time would you get up in the morning? What kind of foods would you eat? How would you feel if you had perfect health? Just imagine you have no limits. The fourth area has to do with your net worth. How much do you want to save and accumulate in the course of your working lifetime? What is your long-term financial goal? Remember, you can't hit a target that you can't see. The more clarity you have about your financial goals, the more likely you are to make the right decisions on the way to reaching them. Here's a technique you can use. I call it the 3-goal method. Write down your 3 most important goals in your life right now. Take 30 seconds and write them as fast as you can. Bang, bang, bang. Your answers are probably an accurate picture of what you really want in life. We have found that if you have only 30 seconds to write your 3 goals, your answers will be as accurate as if you had 30 minutes or 3 hours. Somehow, your superconscious and subconscious mind go into overdrive and pop, pop, pop. There are your 3 major goals. Number 2, write your goals down. They must be in writing, and they must be clear, specific, detailed, and measurable. You must write out your goals as if you are placing an order to be manufactured in a factory at a great distance. Make your description clear and detailed in every sense. Only 3% of adults have written goals. Not only do these people earn 10 times as much as the average person, but everyone else works for them. There are many cases where people come to our country with no knowledge of anybody, no context, no language skills, and 10 years later they have hundreds of people working for them. And they're wealthy. Why? It's because they had goals. They were clear about what they wanted. Number 3, set deadlines. Your subconscious mind uses deadlines to drive you, consciously and unconsciously, toward achieving your goal on schedule. If it is big enough, set sub-deadlines. For example, if you want to achieve financial independence, you may set a 10 or 20-year goal. Then break it down year by year so that you know how much you have to save and invest each year. If for some reason you don't achieve your goal by the deadline, simply set a new deadline. There are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. Sometimes you can have a logical, realistic goal, and situations, circumstances, and financial conditions will change dramatically, so you'll have to set a new deadline. Number 4, identify the obstacles that you will have to overcome to achieve your goal. You identify them by asking why you aren't already at your goal. There's a principle called the principle of constraints. It's one of the best thinking tools I've ever learned. It says that there's only one limiting factor or constraint, sometimes we call it a bottleneck, that sets the speed at which you achieve your goal. What is it for you? What is your constraint? What's holding you back? The 80-20 rule applies to constraints. It says that fully 80% of the reasons that are holding you back from achieving your goal are inside yourself. They are usually the lack of skill, a quality, or a body of knowledge. Only 20% of the reasons you are not achieving your goal are on the outside. Always start with yourself and ask, what is it in me that is holding me back? Number 5, determine the knowledge, information, and skills you will need to achieve your goal. Especially identify the skills that you will have to develop to be in the top 10% in your field. Remember, to achieve a goal you've never achieved before, you're going to have to develop a skill and do something you've never done before. Your weakest key skill sets the limit on your income and your success. You can make more progress by going to work on that one skill that is holding you back than you can by working on any other. Here's the key question. What one skill, if you developed it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? What one skill, if you were really good at it, would most help you to double your income? Once you answer these questions, write it down, make a plan, and work on developing that skill every single day. Write down every book you could read, every audio program you could listen to, every action you could take, and every day do something that improves you in that one area. Number 6, identify the people whose help and cooperation you will require to achieve your goal. Make a list of every person in your life that you will have to work with or work around to achieve a goal. Start with the members of your family whose cooperation and support you will require. List your boss, your coworkers, and your subordinates. Especially identify the customers you will need to buy enough of your product or service to make the money you want. Once you've identified the key people whose help you will require, ask yourself what's in it for them. Be a go-giver rather than a go-getter. To achieve big goals, you will need the help and support of lots of people. One key person at a certain time and place in your life can make all the difference. The most successful people are those who build and maintain the largest networks of other people whom they can help and who can help them in return. Number 7, make a list of everything you will have to do to achieve your goal. Write down the obstacles that you will have to overcome, the knowledge and skills you will have to develop, and the people whose cooperation you will require. List every step you can think of that you will have to follow to ultimately achieve your goal. As you think of new items, add them to your list until your list is complete. When you make a list of all the things you will need to do to achieve your goal, you will begin to see that it is far more attainable than you thought. Remember what Confucius said. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You can build the biggest wall in the world one brick at a time. Number 8, organize your list into a plan. You can accomplish this by arranging the steps that you have identified in two ways. First, by sequence, and second, by priority. To organize a plan by sequence, ask what you have to do before you do something else, and in what order. To organize by priority, you ask what is more important and what is less important. The 80-20 rule says that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. On the other hand, the 20-80 rule says that the first 20% of time that you spend planning your goal and organizing your plan will be worth 80% of the time and effort required to achieve the goal. Planning is very important. 9. Organize your list into a series of steps, from the beginning all the way through to completion. When you have a goal and a plan, you increase the likelihood of achieving your goal by 1,000%. Many statistics prove this. You cannot imagine the power of a written plan. Then plan each day, each week, and each month in advance. Plan each month at the beginning of the month. Plan each week at the weekend before. Plan each day the evening before. The more careful and detailed you are in planning your activities, the more you will accomplish in less time. The rule is that each minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution. This means you get 1,000% return on your investment of time in planning your days, weeks, and months in advance. Number 10, visualize your goals. Create clear, vivid, exciting, emotional pictures of your goals as if they were already a reality. See your goal as though it were already achieved. Imagine yourself enjoying the accomplishment of this goal. If it's a car, imagine yourself driving this car. If it's a vacation, see yourself on the vacation already. If it's a beautiful home that you want, see yourself living in a beautiful home. In visualizing, take a few moments as well to create the emotions that would accompany the successful achievement of your goal. Visualization is perhaps the most powerful faculty available to you to help you achieve your goals faster than you ever thought possible. A mental picture combined with an emotion has an enormous impact on your subconscious and your superconscious mind. When you use a combination of clear goals combined with visualization and emotionalization, you activate your superconscious mind. Your superconscious mind solves every problem on the way to your goal. It activates the law of attraction and begins attracting into your life the people, circumstances, ideas, and resources that will help you to achieve your goals faster. A goal-setting exercise. Take a clean sheet of paper and write the word goals at the top of the page, along with today's date. Discipline yourself to write out at least 10 goals that you would like to accomplish in the next year or in the foreseeable future. Begin each goal with the word I. As I said, only you can use the word I with reference to yourself. Follow the word I with an action verb, which will act as a command from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. For example, you could say, I run, I earn, I sell, I achieve, I acquire, I save. Following the word I with an action verb is like pushing down a dynamite detonator, which goes kaboom in your subconscious. When you write your goals, describe them in the present tense, as if they have all been achieved. Your subconscious mind is only activated by the language of the present tense. If your goal is to earn a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time, you would say, I earn this amount by this date. If your goal is to get a new car, you would say, I drive such and such a car by such and such a date. This is a clear command from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. Again, when you write down your goals, always write them in a positive form. Instead of saying, I will quit smoking, you would say, I am a non-smoker. Instead of saying, I will lose weight, you say, I weigh this number of pounds. Always take your goals as they were already a reality, as though you have already accomplished them. This activates your subconscious and superconscious mind to change your external so that it is consistent with your inner command. Next, decide upon your definite major purpose. Once you have written a list of 10 goals, ask yourself, if I could wave a magic wand and achieve any goal in this list within 24 hours, which one would have the greatest positive impact on my life? When you answer that question, put a circle around that goal. Then transfer the goal to the top of a clean sheet of paper. Write it down clearly and in detail. Set a deadline on these goals and set sub-deadlines if necessary. Identify the obstacles you have to overcome to achieve your goal. Identify the most important one, internal or external. Identify the knowledge and skills you will need to achieve your goal and the most important one that you'll have to excel at. Identify the people whose help and cooperation you require and think about what you can do to deserve their help. Make a list of everything you'll do to achieve your goal and add to the list as you think of new things to do. Organize your list by sequence and priority, by what you have to do first and by what is most important. Make a plan by organizing your list into steps from the first to the last, then resolve to act on your plan every single day. Plan your goals in terms of the activities you'll have to engage in to achieve it, daily, weekly, monthly, in advance. Then discipline yourself to concentrate single-mindedly on the most important thing that you can do today until it is 100% complete. Do this with every major task. Resolve in advance that no matter what happens, you will never give up. Each time you persist and overcome the inevitable failures and disappointments, you become stronger and more resilient. You increase your self-esteem and self-confidence. Your goal is to become unstoppable. Decide exactly what you want, write it down, make a plan, and work on it every single day. If you do this over and over again until it becomes a habit, you'll accomplish more in the next few weeks and months than many people accomplish in several years or a lifetime. Begin today.